Hi! So this is my TBR and currently reading video, which will go up in a couple of weeks, so hopefully I will finish these books by the time this goes up. But I didn't want to just have like one huge video and then nothing for a couple of weeks, so we'll just split them up and everything will be fine. I'm currently reading 2 books. Goodreads says 3, but I'm ignoring Mara and Dan because that's not happening. The book that I've been reading for a couple of months is After the Parade by Laurie Ostland. It's about a man called Aaron who leaves his partner of decades, I can't remember how long, and moves away to San Francisco and gets a job as a teacher, and it just goes back and forth between the past and the present. It's called After the Parade because his father dies at a parade, and it's just kind of dealing with how his life turned out after this parade, because he wasn't happy before, and his dad's a bit of a knob. He's not very nice. His mum's very subservient, very submissive, and he seems to have kind of slipped into that role in his relationship with his partner, and because he's very authoritative, he's older, he's, so that is really good. There are really funny moments, and it's really interesting. And he teaches English as a second language. That's what he gets a job doing, and it's just really interesting the way that makes him think of things. So he has to explain concepts that seem really normal to us, but when you think about it, it just doesn't make sense. So a lot of it is just him reconsidering things in his life, and it's just really nice, and I need to make more time to read it because I'm really enjoying it. I think it's really good. The other book that I've been reading is part of my goal to read more non-fiction this year, and it is Crunch Lit by Katie Shaw. Katie is one of my lecturers this year, and she'll be teaching us about Crunch Lit in the new year. But this is really interesting. It's about economic downturn and how that affects literature. It's really interesting. I went to the post-capitalism event with Paul Mason, who is quoted here, and that was really good. It was really interesting, and I have accepted that I'm a boring person now. I hopefully will be going to another event on Wednesday, which is about capitalism, which will have been a couple of weeks ago by the time this goes up, but I just find it really interesting. It's mainly focused on the credit crunch, which doesn't seem that far away for me, because as I said before, I'm an old boring adult now, but it was in 2007 that happened. I was worried when I volunteered to help out with this event on economics that a lot of it would go over my head, but one of the parts of the event was a film called Boom Bust Boom, which is so good. It was written by an economist, I can't remember his name, and Terry Jones from Monty Python, and it is so funny, it's so interesting, and I would definitely recommend it if any of you have the chance to see it. I think it's wonderful. But it was so much fun to do the event, and I enjoyed it so much. This is really interesting. My focus for my Research and Cultures presentation kind of became about economics, so I have a few articles on my computer about the economic climate in World War II. So I've got those to read as well, but this is really good. It's really interesting. If you are a literature student, I would probably recommend it. Contemporary literature student, because otherwise, I mean, there is a little bit. In the introduction she talks about how a lot of literature is based around economy, so things like, well, a lot of Dickens is based on economy, and then if you think about it, Pride and Prejudice, North and South, it's not even thinly veiled, it's pretty much about money. Yeah, I just think that it's really interesting, and so probably I'll be using some of this for my dissertation, so I think that it's really good. The next non-fiction book that I want to read is The Establishment and How They Get Away with It by Owen Jones. I remember seeing this everywhere, and then I was in the library looking for stuff for my presentation, and I just thought, I'll read you. So I brought it home with me, so I'm going to read that next. As soon as I finish Casey's book, I'll move on to this. And then I want to read The Road, because I'm studying The Road in a few weeks, and I haven't read it. This is by Cormac McCarthy. It's a post-apocalyptic dystopia thing focused on a father and son, I've seen a bit of the film and it was terrifying, so I'm really not looking forward to this as much as I love dystopia. Not looking forward to it. And the next two books are both by Bret Easton Ellis. One is Glamorama and one is not Imperial Bedrooms, American Psycho. American Psycho is a book that we will be studying in the new year, actually probably around February, but I'm really looking forward to this. It's been a year since I've been taught any Ellis, and I think he's wonderful. I like the way that his books fall apart at the end, but this is American Psycho, so it pretty much just falls apart all the way through. I have never made it all the way through this book. I get just past the first dog and I just can't stop thinking about it. So I'm going to push through it. I want to study Ellis for my dissertation, which is why I'm reading Glamorama, because I haven't touched this book. I don't know anything that it's about, and I want to read all of his books. So just got a few more, but yeah. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I like Ellis. He's cliched and he's, you know, sticks to a format, but I like that. It's regular. It's nice to have expectations met. Not that you can really expect a lot of the things that happen in it, but it's nice that there's a familiar formula with people will be horrible and then everything will go wrong, but they'll still be horrible, and everything will be okay for them, but like other people will die and bad things will happen to other people. It's not a nice formula, but it's familiar. So that is it. That's what I'm reading and have been reading and will be reading and hope to read, and that's how it's going. I've been doing this for over a year and I still can't end videos.